This is Scott Spears, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of The Exchange. Joining us this week, we've got Matt Morgan, 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, and back with us, we're so glad to have Mike Larsen, who is a stand-up comic, comedy writer, written for some great sitcoms, The Drew Carey Show, performed on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, Ryan Reynolds, all kinds of great stuff. So good to have him with us again. And Mike has a big show coming up Thursday here in Ohio, in Columbus, High Street, that we are all going to attend. Yes. We're all extremely excited. Mike, tell us about the big show coming up Thursday.
Well, it's a great show at Hashtag Comedy Club on High Street in the short north of Columbus. And it is, I get to perform with probably if not the best, two of the best comics certainly in Ohio. Jeff Jenna, who's been doing comedy longer than I have and is just a major national corporate act primarily these days. And Layla Ingalls, who's a young comic in her 20s from Dayton, but has been all over the country and is a real rising star. It's going to be a great show. Oh, and me.
And you'll be there,
and
absolutely.
me, I am on the show as well, yes.
Now, does it matter when you're on a show like that with two other comedians where you perform? Do you want to go on first? Do you want to go on last?
It varies. In this case, Jeff is the headliner, so he will go last and he will do longer. I'm what you would call, and then Layla and I will do slightly shorter sets before Jeff. So yeah, it varies, but then very often I will headline. I prefer to not headline. I like to go and do my 20 or 30 minutes and then go enjoy the show. But it varies.
Is it difficult if not that you are not funny, but if you know somebody is really good, do you want them to go on before you and then the crowd's really up, or do you not want to follow them because you know they're really good?
You know, it's funny. Comedians will complain either way, right? Either the person behind them is just bombing and you're like, oh, come on. You got to get me some laughs before I get on stage. Or they're doing fantastic and you're like, oh my God, I can't follow this. So, yeah, I mean, from an audience's point of view, you would like the show to build. So you would like everyone to be funny, but to be a little different, and the three of us are very different style-wise. So that's good. And Jeff is of the very highest standing among comedians. I doubt there's a professional comedian in the United States, certainly anyone over 30, who does not know and love Jeff Jenna. I mean, he's very, very well respected. So when Jeff is on the show, there's never a question of who's the headliner. I mean, unless he was with Jerry Seinfeld or someone, but yeah. And I am really. I told you before. I scheduled the show because my brother is visiting. He lives in Australia now, and I haven't seen him in a couple of years, and he'll be there at the show. And partly when they asked me to the show, I said, let me call Jeff and see. And partly it was like, I want to see a good show. I want my family to see a good show. So, yeah, I'm more excited probably about seeing Jeff and Layla perform. And then I love doing my thing, but I've seen my act.
Now, what is your act primarily these days? What kind of things do you talk about?
I would say it's probably, it is my own, I would say maybe a quarter of it is political in some way, but it's not necessarily like topical, like late night, like this was in the paper and here's a joke. I don't do a lot of that, but I talk about Ohio politics because I'm not from here, right? I'm from California, so a lot of my act is about Ohio just because when you go to a new place, so I talk a lot about that transition, about living in Ohio. And then I talk just anything that may be in my life, how I grew up in a big Catholic family and I have lots of brothers and sisters, so,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw an interview this past weekend with the late George Carlin, and he was talking about how he never did topical humor, which is kind of interesting because if you watch his specials, he really doesn't. And he said the reason for that was no matter how good it is, eventually it has to come out because
Yes.
it's topical. And he
There's
said
a
he
shelf
liked-
life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it used to be, yes, and like George Carlin is a I would say I am more political than I am topical. George Carlin was political.
Oh, political.
He
absolutely.
just wasn't topical because those jokes just don't last long. And they used to be before the internet. If you had a really good joke about that day's news, the odds are Letterman or Carson or someone was going to do it that night. You know. So, and now with the internet, if something happens on the news and I write a joke about it, I am almost positive that somewhere someone else is already doing that joke. You know. You know. I made a joke. I'll tell you a topical joke that is already too old. The day I heard that Dean Cain, who played Superman on television, joined ICE. But he's not the Superman we remember. He's put on a lot of weight. Not the Man of Steel so much as the Man of Cheese. And that he mainly joined ICE because he heard they were throwing sandwiches at them. Right? I found that hilarious. I did it one night on stage, and then in my Instagram scroll, I noticed that somebody else, someone who had no, you know, because it was out there. It's like, it didn't take a genius to put those two stories together, you know. So yeah, you don't spend a lot of time writing topical jokes unless you have a pretty big platform to share them, you know.
Well, we are all excited, Mary Ellen, aren't we not? This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Good,
Yep.
good.
Matt, excited?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love comedy. Comedy's
I'm
good.
saying hashtag Comedy Club on High Street in Short North.
7 p.m. Thursday
7
night.
p.m. tomorrow night. Yes.
Big show. Big, and only $15.
Only 15. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Because they don't usually do Thursday shows, weekday shows, and so they said, let's see if we can. They're trying to establish some other nights because they've mostly been a Friday, Saturday type thing. So they decided they wanted to do a cheaper ticket. It's like, oh, great. My fans are not generous people.
Mary Ellen, when's the last time you were at a comedy club?
It was in when I was in office. I was U.S. Treasurer, and I'm trying to remember where I was, but it was really funny.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to laughing tomorrow night.
Yes.
So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we thank Mike for having
Well,
us.
I would say when you were treasurer in the 90s, there was a pretty big comedy boom. Comedy clubs were
Yes.
incredibly popular.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm sure that was...
And they picked on me.
Oh, that's great.
I was in the front row. I shouldn't have sat in the front row, but they wanted me in the front row, so I,
Sure.
like an idiot, I sat in the front row. And so then it was the fun of the evening.
They went for you.
Yeah,
went
they
for
did.
You.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now,
Yeah.
have you ever done a roast, Mary Ellen? Have they ever done that with you?
Yes,
Do you like? Because
they
most
haven't
people.
done it to me, but I've done it to other
You've
people.
been a part
Oh,
of that.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I'm trying to think who we roasted, and I remember it was kind of a rough situation.
Well, I've noticed
Yeah.
I
that.
thought it was rough.
But they do that with a lot of politicians now,
Yeah.
but they're laughing during it, but I don't think they're laughing when it's
No,
over.
it gets nasty.
Well, and
Yeah.
it used to, now because everything's on video, it's actually become less nasty in a way because it's on video. But yeah, I did quite a few roasts of politicians that I either performed myself or wrote jokes
you?
for politicians.
Oh, did
and
you? Yeah.
it was kind of it was supposed to, the whole point was for it to be nasty, especially if it was someone who had a great sense of humor. The former mayor of San Francisco, Willie Brown, who is a famously both powerful and hilarious man.
Yeah.
He is hilarious.
Yeah.
And I wrote jokes for a number of the politicians who roasted him, and it was so much fun because we knew that there was no holding back.
Yeah.
Because then when he got up at the end, he was the best of them all. He
Was
roasted everybody.
Yeah. I met
But-
him.
He's such a
Yeah.
great guy.
Yeah.
What a hilarious guy he is.
He was behind Susie. What's her last name? She was U.S. Treasurer under Obama. Susie
The treasurer.
Susie's.
Who was the treasurer? Oh my.
Susie, it was Susie something. It was such a nice name because it started with an S. Susie's. I can't say
I don't
it.
know either. I
Yeah.
wish I could, yeah.
I thought I'd never forget that. No, it was Rosie Riaz.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
I still
Rosie.
would not have gotten
Yeah.
the name, but yes,
Yeah.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, well, and at the swearing in, he was there for her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I went to that too.
Yeah.
But I met him in his office when I was out there. Yeah.
Didn't Willie Brown have some kind of connection with Kamala Harris? Didn't we see him on the news last year?
Very
a lot
close
about
connection.
Yeah.
I think one of her first jobs was actually when Brown was mayor. Yeah. She's definitely kind of one of his kind of proteges.
Very interesting. Well, now to the real comedy,
Yeah.
the current events of the day, which are they are fascinating. Some interesting stuff going on now. Probably nothing more interesting than this. President Donald Trump's latest push to end absentee voting has ignited a firestorm of criticism and intense debate about the nation's election rules as the next midterm and presidential campaigns kick into gear. Election law experts said a president has no role in governing elections. Advocacy groups threatened lawsuits aiming to block Trump, and Democrats braced for a political fight heading into the 26 and 28 election cycles as they look to rebound after a disastrous 24 campaign. The Constitution gives states and Congress the power to run elections, said Michael Waldron, CEO of the Brennan Center for Justice at New York University. Presidents have no lawful role. But White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters August 19th that Trump would work with lawmakers to end mail-in voting because this is a priority for the president. How popular is mail-in voting? Mail-in voting is widespread and popular. Out of the 155 million votes cast in 2024, nearly 47 million were mailed in, according to the Election Assistance Commission. So, here we go. Why would President Trump want to do this, Mary Ellen?
Well, and then he also, didn't he add that he didn't trust the machines right after he said that?
Yeah.
So I thought, here he's going to try to mess up the election really bad. Yeah.
Well, he has no power to do this, according to the people who study the Constitution. But that hasn't been a problem this presidential round. Do what you want. Do you think he'll be able to do this? I've talked to a couple people about this. This seems to be important to people, but they feel that he can't do it. That's their feeling on it.
Well, you think that, and then he gets by with it. That's what happens. Nobody stops him.
Well, I imagine somebody will sue him, and then it will go to the Supreme Court.
And then there we are.
And there we are. And we'll see what they have to say about this. I would not think they would want to take away absentee voting, though, or mail-in voting. I wouldn't want to think they'd want to do that, but who knows? What do you think, Matt?
Well, I think that, like it says, the elections are for the states. That's kind of, they determine their election laws. So, I think even if he does get it passed through, there's a fair chance that, he'd have to enforce it on the states, and I don't know how many states will follow suit with that.
What do you think, Mike?
I think all of the Republicans who have done nothing but his bidding will continue to do his bidding. It doesn't matter if it's legal. Texas will do it. Ohio will do it. You think Frank LaRose is going to stand up to Donald? He made a statement in the press today, Frank LaRose, but it was, as weak as Frank LaRose, right?
Did he stand up against
you
it?
Can't spell a loser without LaRose.
Not a fan?
No, so weak. So, but I think, all of these Republicans certainly across the country aren't going to, yes, it's illegal, but what do you do if they don't want poor people and working people and non-white people to vote, and this is the way you do it. Of that number you gave of how many people show up, where do you think they show up? They show up in rural. I would have just in Marion. I would bet that the rural precincts are 100% show up, and the urban precincts are probably more likely to be mail-in, right? So,
but this is one of those stories I don't understand. Again, Here's what I don't understand. The last election, the Republicans did very well. A matter of fact, this article says the Democrats had a disastrous campaign year, and they did. And in a place like Ohio, we haven't had any problems electing the Republicans to every single office possible with mail-in and absentee voting. So why go after this? It's not like it's hurting the Republicans at this particular point. What's the point?
Do you remember what he said? Why this became an issue? Putin told him.
Well,
that's right. He did
right?
say that.
Yeah, right after Hannity. He didn't talk about Ukraine.
Yeah.
He didn't talk about anything. He said, Putin told us that told me mail-in balloting cost me the election. And so he's like, well, by all means, if Vladimir Putin said it.
Well, I mean, I don't know that it cost him the election, but more or less that's, I mean, to a certain degree, I guess that's true because it was during COVID. And people did vote early. Isn't that the election he's talking about? He's not talking about...
Right, 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Right, that if you counted all of the votes of all of the people who voted, yes, he lost the election.
He lost the election.
And many of them did it by mail. The state of Washington is entirely by mail.
Right.
They don't have
really?
polling places anymore.
But
they haven't for 10 years.
But does Putin understand that Trump won the last election since 20... That's why... See, I don't get this. I don't understand this whole... the man can't run again, so what's the point?
Really?
Well, I don't know.
We hope not.
Well, would he run? You know, at that point, see, I mean,
he'll do anything he wants to do.
Well, he should.
If he is alive and there is they can hook a machine up to him, then yes, he will try to run. I don't think there's any doubt that he won't try to remain in office if he has one. You know, if he has any...
But it certainly wouldn't be a fair election, so who cares if it's mail-in, absentee? If you're running for an illegal third term, I doubt everything's on the up and up in the country.
It might be just more likely that he tries to get, like, well, he's got Donald Trump Jr., I guess, but for some reason the first one that always comes to my head is Barron Trump.
Oh, really?
To run for office?
Well, no, not to run for office, just like in general, when I think of Donald Trump...
Or is he going to count the votes?
No, sorry, I guess I didn't elaborate. No, I think that, I mean, there's a fair chance that Donald Trump just puts, like, Don Jr. or somebody up for, essentially to run for president as the Republican
Oh, that's
candidate.
why last week we had the conversation about J.D. Vance. I don't think J.D. Vance is a shoo-in for anything.
Nope.
I don't think...
J.D. Vance has kind of been disappeared since he got into office there.
But coming back to this, I'm not saying that it's a good idea to get rid of mail-in voting, but the Republicans are doing well with mail-in voting, so do it to what? Give yourself...
Because he's a dictator, and he wants to do away with elections, right? He's doing adding the illegal seats in Texas to the, yeah, because he wants to be an authoritarian, and he's going to...
What's the game plan for him when, like, because, I mean, Gavin Newsom has said it, that if Texas redistricts, California's going to redistrict.
And so will Illinois. Yeah. Pritzker's up there saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to work, or certainly isn't going to work well.
Oh, no, it's stupid. It's horrible. I mean, nothing that Trump says is a good idea, but, I mean, in our own, look, Mike DeWine just sent troops.
Well, that's the next. Were you looking at my notes?
No.
I think you were looking at my notes when I wasn't
What
here.
I'm saying is that none of this is based on, like, you are such a good logical person. You always say, where's the logic? And we're like, it's Trump. There is no logic. So.
Well, let's go into that next story because, it dovetails right off of this. Our governor, Mike DeWine, said it's the right thing to do to send 150 Ohio National Guard members to Washington, D.C. as President Donald Trump deploys troops and seizes control of the city's Metropolitan Police Department. Trump announced on August 11th that he would deploy National Guard troops to Washington to crack down on crime in the nation's capital. Late August 15th, Secretary of the Army Daniel P. Driscoll asked DeWine to send military police to D.C. Governor Mike DeWine says it's the right thing to do to send 150 Ohio National Guard members to Washington, D.C. as President Donald Trump deploys troops and seizes control of the city's Metropolitan Police Department. The initial decision to deploy D.C. National Guard was not my decision. That was the President of the United States' decision, DeWine told the State House Bureau. But when the Secretary of the Army asks for backup support to our troops that are already deployed, yes, we will back up our troops. DeWine is one of only three Republican governors who said they'll send additional troops, Reuters reported. Ohio House Democrats are calling on DeWine to bring the Ohio National Guard home. And since this story came out today, they couldn't get DeWine for an interview, but they pulled Jim Tressel aside, the lieutenant governor, and he said, well, I'm with DeWine on this, that people should go. Essentially, let's paraphrase. I don't have the quote in front of me, but he did not rebuke the idea.
So Washington, D.C. has the crime rate is at a 30-year low right now. Meanwhile, Cincinnati's crime rate is going up. If he wants to,
Is it for sure?
Yes, DeWine, yes. D.C. is one of the, is going in the right direction. And two of those other states, Tennessee, both Memphis and Jackson, Mississippi also sent theirs, both have higher murder rates than Washington. It's just this authoritarian thing. DeWine, whatever. I am only disappointed in DeWine because he's retiring and he could go out with class if he chose to, and instead he has chose to give in to this. He knows it's wrong. He knows sending federal troops to the streets of Washington for no reason. When they wouldn't even do it for January 6th.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was surprised DeWine. I thought DeWine might at least slow play it.
Only 3 have done it, which I think is interesting.
There's more now. I think
have more jumped on.
I know it's Tennessee, Mississippi, West Virginia, Ohio. There might be one other,
but not a large number.
But those are all the Republican states that border the district, except for Virginia. Interesting that Virginia didn't. They have a Republican governor.
Right. Well, I'm just trying to figure out here. Again, Trump doesn't need help in Ohio right now. The Republicans don't need help in Ohio. DeWine's retiring.
Right.
So I look at this and go, why?
I know, that was my thought.
What's the point?
Yeah.
What is the point behind this whole thing? Why? If crime is low, they'll maintain the crime rate, I'm sure. How much lower could it? I guess somewhat lower.
Well, I would say it is low. It's still an urban city.
But it's lower than
poverty is in all the major cities. They say crime, but it's poverty, right, that drives these things. So it is at a 30-year low for Washington, D.C. I've lived in D.C. You've lived in D.C. There have been times in its history when it has been very, very dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Not now.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about what Mike DeWine has done, Mary Ellen?
Well, I was surprised that he did that because I thought he would stand up against Trump and not do it, And the thing is, they say it's for the people that are out on the street, living on the street.
The homeless.
The homeless is what they're doing it for. So I really don't know exactly what they're doing. Are they doing it for crime? Are they doing it for the homeless? Or why? Or what else?
I think in Trump's mind, that's all the same thing.
Yeah,
and what is the homeless are made up of? Mentally ill and veterans primarily.
And they're people that it's a sad situation. Yeah, and what are they doing with them? Are they taking them to lock them up, or what are they doing? Right. I think it's so awful what they're doing to the people that are taking them to lock them up and other countries. I think it's terrible what they're doing.
What about Jim Tressel not going against this? He could.
I don't know why he did that. I'm kind of disappointed in Jim Tressel.
Can a lieutenant governor that has been appointed, though, go against his governor? I'm not defending Jim Tressel, but
he gave his opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. They usually back up their governor, right?
Well, usually, since he was appointed by him,
right, and he
owes him a little something.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, I guess, where we are with this story. But Matt, what do you think?
Well, like Mary Ellen said, I read in the paper the other day that they were using the National Guard and the D.C. police force to break up homeless camps. What are you going to do with them? I don't know. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to
Yeah.
me as to why. I figure there's better uses of federal monies and state National Guard troops than breaking up homeless camps and policing states that already have lowering crime rates.
Right.
But does it hurt Mike DeWine in the long run? Does it hurt? I mean, this man has some kind of a legacy. He's been around forever.
He is. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe is he angling for a position in the administration? I don't know. But the other thing with the National Guard, we like to think that it's like they are stationed at a base somewhere and we put them on buses. No, they are people who have jobs. People who work at the Honda plant or are whatever, teachers or lawyers. They have to leave their job and leave their family in order to do a political stunt that has no reason for sending the military to bust up homeless people. I mean, talk about punching down. I mean,
I'll bet the morale in the people that are doing this is really low. I would guess.
I would think, unless you are such a true diehard Trump person, I would think most of them, I have to leave my family to go do this?
Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting? Years ago, and I'll never forget this statistic, was that people who were fighting in the Iraq War, when they let those people vote, they were the most, they voted more for the anti-war candidate than anybody, the actual troops. I'm trying to remember who I think it was Ron Paul, I forget who was running at that time. It was one of but they were the most anti-war at that time.
Oh, right, I remember that,
And that person got the most votes among the military because apparently the military doesn't want to be there. Yeah, but you know, you just of course, as we all found out during Vietnam, you don't want to say anything negative about the military. So I think that's what really is going on here. You don't want to criticize the National Guard. You don't want to criticize them for going. I guess you can criticize DeWine for sending them, but it's one of those tricky things. You know, you might be against the.
Oh yeah, no, they have to follow orders.
Right.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't think people are criticizing. I mean, individually on the when you protest, you could certainly be talking to people's conscience. I don't think that's necessarily being unduly criticizing. If you see a National Guard person and you say, "What are you doing?" You realize that you're supporting a dictator.
Well, I think it becomes. I think that's what it becomes. As you come in and you're breaking up a homeless camp, they're saying, "What are you doing? How can you do that?" And
right.
That's not to the president. That's to the troops.
That's to a human, to a human being who made a conscious decision to do something. And I think there's nothing wrong with. Yeah, certainly you shouldn't be violent but there's certainly no reason or questioning a police officer who's using excessive force. There's certainly nothing wrong with standing up and telling them, what are you doing, right?
But do they have a choice? I mean,
sure. Right? We're humans, right?
Right, but if you have some kind of military pension or you have some kind of military life going on, and you probably don't want to rock that boat.
That's right.
No, right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, but it is interesting that this came from DeWine, of all people, because I think a lot more people have felt that not that he's anti-Trump, but that he does not go along with everything.
Yeah.
And he did it quick, too.
He did it quick.
That's why I was kind of surprised at. Boy, I thought at least maybe he would have.
Well, he said it was the right thing to do. That's the big quote out of this story.
Yeah,
Mike DeWine says it's the right thing to... he could have sent them and said it because the president asked. I'm doing it because that's what my president...
I think that's what he is saying is the right thing to do, though, because he made the point that he has done it for Democratic presidents as well. But
not for this
those
reason.
things, it was things like after Hurricane Katrina or whatever,
Right.
yeah.
So there you go. What do you think, Matt? Right thing to do?
I mean,
He could say it's the wrong thing to do, but still do it. I mean, people do that all the time.
Not politicians. They say it's the right thing to do, whether it is.
Well, sometimes you just got to go along. I think Gavin Newsom thought a lot of things were wrong going on out in California, but he went along with it to try to get some people some help when the fires were burning.
Well, yeah. I think like Mary Ellen, though, I think just because of where Mike DeWine is in his career, you would think if anyone in these last 2 years has the freedom to do whatever he wants to do, it's him.
Well, I mean, even
You would think. So.
Yeah.
Even during the
Right.
election, I do believe I couldn't think of his name for some reason. Mike DeWine. He was not a fan of Donald Trump during.
No, right. He has never really been a Trump guy.
But he supported him in the end. And we gotta break here quick. We're coming back talking more state politics right after this. Don't go anywhere. Hey, this is Scott Spears with WGH Talk, and we are celebrating the 11th anniversary, and we're having a great time. The whole gang's here. 40th President of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, Superfan Buckeye Guy, Chad Clark, Fred Malone, Bob Welch, Linda Sims, Matt Morgan, Christian Pearson, Gary Packett. Even my mother is here. My goodness gracious, the whole gang is here, and we are celebrating. We thank the L&D Cake Shop for this beautiful, beautiful cake. Buckeye Guy, are you happy to be here?
Man, I'm so happy to be here. You wouldn't believe it.
Bring it down again.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Bob, are you having a good time down there on the floor? Absolutely. Mary Ellen, are you ready to tear into this cake?
Oh, I am.
Cannot wait for it. And we thank you, the listening audience, for being with us for 11 years. It's been terrific. We thank you, thank you, thank you. And on the count of three, one big happy anniversary. 1, 2, 3. Happy anniversary! Hey, and we continue on with this week's episode of The Exchange. We got Matt Morgan, 40th President of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, and stand-up comedian, comedy writer, Mike Larsen, along with us for the ride. Boy, there has been a lot going on in Ohio politics. We heard last week that Democrat Sherrod Brown thought he was pondering about running in the 2026 U.S. Senate race. Well, on Monday, he got in. He's running. He says he did not plan to run again, but he knows something can be done for Ohio. And in the first 24 hours, he raised $3.6 million in 24 hours.
Really?
Of his announcement on Monday. So, Mary Ellen, last week...
That's a normal 24 hours for me, too, by the way.
You do that well?
Yeah, about 3.6 million a day.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes. You know what I was thinking when I heard that number, and other people's numbers have been bigger, but I thought... You know, for all the money we need for certain things, and charities are always trying to raise money for certain things, it doesn't take a politician very long to raise money. People are motivated.
Well, I think a lot of people want him to run, yeah.
Do you believe he wasn't planning to run again? Now, I thought that was a little disingenuous.
I thought he was planning to run from when he got over the sadness of losing. I think he was ready to run again.
Well, he moved to Columbus. It has only been, I mean, my God, it's only been 8 months since he left office. I mean,
I think there was a question of whether it would be governor or senator. I think when he moved to Columbus, that's what I thought. Oh, he must be getting ready to run for governor because he moved to the capital. But I'm glad he's running.
Well, it's interesting. He'll be up against John Husted at this point, and Husted's got a lot of money, but Sherrod Brown seems to be doing okay. So I guess it'll be how the state goes. What are Sherrod Brown's chances, Mary Ellen?
Well, he's got a good chance. They had a very negative thing on TV in the announcement. I forget who it was speaking. It was so negative on Brown. They didn't have anything positive, which I thought was totally wrong. It was ABC.
Really?
It was on. Yeah, I was a little disappointed in that. I think Sherrod Brown has a good chance because a lot of people were very disappointed that he lost. So that tells you there's a lot of people out there that want him to run.
You know, also, but there is, and I did not see the piece on ABC, but there is a dislike for him too amongst a certain group of people. There's something about him. I've always found him very nice. When I've had him on the show, I've always found him to be fine. He's a good interview. He talks. I don't get a bad personality, but of course I haven't been around him that long. But there's something about him that people, I don't know what it is. There is something there. That,
you feel that?
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's worse than Husted, because Husted certainly got his own problems.
Well, that's right.
But there is something about Sherrod Brown that people rally against a little. And I think that's what Moreno was able to play on.
You know what I remember is his mother campaigning for him and how she was so dedicated and worked so hard, went door to door for him, and she was way up in years. And he really had the support of his family and his brother, too. I mean, he's been, and his daughters. And yeah, it's interesting to listen to people and what they think, but I think he has a good chance.
Well, I will say, I certainly don't think there was another Ohioan who had a chance as good as he has to
No.
win this. So,
No.
it's
Well,
certainly
I
not a
think
bad shot.
Sherrod is very much a workhorse and not a show horse. He is not a media person. He came up in politics when how you looked on camera wasn't as important. Not that he's not a handsome man or whatever, but he's not someone who seeks out the cameras, you know. And I think he's kind of I don't know him well, but I have been in rooms working on things where he's been in. He's to me, he comes across as kind of a policy wonk. He's someone who doesn't care so much about the socializing part of politics and is more of the kind of get things done. And so I imagine that has rubbed people the wrong way occasionally, but yeah, I mean, he's running at a year where Trump will not be on the ballot. So, I mean, you know, you see that what Trump won by like 9% and Sherrod lost by 1.5, 2.
Yeah,
I mean, there is
yeah.
a big difference
Yeah.
there.
That's the big
And I think
Yeah.
that's going to be huge. And Husted is a nobody. No one knows that name. If you ask people who you're, in fact, if you asked people to name Ohioans to name one of their senators, I bet you the most popular name would be Sherrod Brown. I bet more people
Oh, I
still
bet
think
you're right.
Sherrod Brown
They might
is
say
their
John
senator.
Glenn. John Glenn.
Or John.
I think they say John Glenn.
Or John Glenn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Husted is no one knows who that guy is.
But why has that day passed? Because you did know John Glenn. You did know Metzenbaum. People don't know these people. I'm not even. Sherrod Brown is even on the tail end of that. I mean, he's not John Glenn. He's not Metzenbaum.
Well, I mean, John Glenn. I mean, come on, it was John Glenn. He was the astronaut. He was no more
Well, see,
for
that's
being
how-
an astronaut than a senator. So,
Well, and you know, I thought about John Glenn recently, and Mary Ellen, of course, knew. There's a picture right over there with John Glenn and Mary Ellen up
nice.
on the wall.
Yeah.
We should have had that down here if we would have planned this right.
Yeah.
But John Glenn, because we've talked so much about the Democrats not having Riz candidates, that they're not well-known people, they're not from another walk of life, and they're not entertaining. Well, John Glenn was kind of the original model for that. He was an astronaut, for God's sake. He wasn't a politician. He wasn't a lawyer. He was an astronaut, and he lasted forever.
Do you remember when Devine ran for the Senate?
Oh, yes.
And I remember John Glenn said, if he wins, I'm going to have to go down the aisle holding my nose.
Yeah. He did not like him.
Oh, no.
But that was nasty
no.
campaign ads
But
at its height.
he helped Sherrod a lot.
Yeah.
John Glenn did. Yeah.
But Sherrod Brown, what I have always, certainly in recent years in Ohio, because Sherrod Brown was the last of the Democrats in Ohio statewide when he lost his seat last year, but he always seemed to be apart from, he never was the leader. Even though you would think he would be the leader when he was the last, he never led. Whoever was running for governor, whether it was Nan Whaley or Cordray, you didn't see them together a whole lot. You never saw him with the people running for treasurer or secretary of state. He always seemed to be in his own little thing. And there he was.
Well, he runs the Ohio Democratic Party. I mean,
Well, I think he does that, but they're not doing very well.
He christened Dan Whaley as the candidate for governor
Yes.
because originally Ryan was going to run. They were going to run against each other in a primary, and Sherrod straightened that out. Sherrod chose probably the last two chairs of the Democratic Party.
Yes.
I mean, of course, there was a voting, but people were saying, "Who does Sherrod want?"
Yeah.
But is this a good record?
He's the last guy who won, right?
Yeah, but
I go with the guy who's hitting home runs, other than against all the people that are striking out every
Well,
time.
Right, but the team he chose struck out pretty badly.
I know.
Right. Well, he had the ability to tell these people what to do. That's
And he
that's what-
wins.
Well, he wins, but they don't.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. And Nan Whaley got, and I hate to bring this up, but Nan Whaley got less votes than anybody else on the ticket. Every Democrat lost statewide, but she, as the gubernatorial candidate, got fewer votes than the treasurer or the secretary of state the Democrats running. I mean, could not have been a worse candidate. than Nan would. I think Ryan certainly would have done better than that. Although I'm hearing how bad he's hated recently. He's right up there too in the hated department. So we'll get to that in just a second. But boy, since he announced he's going to run for governor, this guy, I mean, he better get up back
announced?
No, since he has announced that he's thinking about it, since Sherrod Brown.
Yeah.
Oh man, the gloves have come off for him. They don't like this guy at all.
Yeah, he deserves it after what he did in that Senate race.
Yeah.
That was a disgrace.
But, well, there we go.
Yeah.
But Sherrod Brown, chances of winning, and I know we're a long way out, percentage-wise.
Oh well, I am a half glass. I think he wins. I think Sherrod wins by, I don't know numbers here, a couple percentage, but yeah, I think he wins.
We're going to call it early that night before midnight.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. And, maybe he helps our governor candidate a little bit because of that.
That would help.
But, I just don't think, because the thing with, not only do we not know who Husted is, nobody knows. The only thing we know of Husted is that he stood next to Mike DeWine during the COVID things. He stood there doing nothing, right?
Right.
That's the only time I remember seeing him. But even when you think, well, he gets to tell us who he is, who is that? It's not like when we find out who he really is, he's just a very dull kind of person,
Bernie Moreno was entertaining in that used car lot sort of way. He had that charisma. And he had the money. Boy, we saw the ads. And I'm sure we'll see those ads recycled against Sherrod Brown again. No doubt about that. Every 5 seconds.
Oh, sure. There'll be plenty of money.
So, but again, see, I'm not sure people voted for Moreno. I think they either voted for Trump or they voted
for Trump. Yeah.
Or they voted against Sherrod Brown because those were some nasty ads.
It was
My
very
goodness.
much like the ads weren't even like a hey support Bernie Moreno. It was like hey
Donald Trump supports.
Yeah. Donald Trump supports Bernie Moreno.
And they were stupid.
Well, I'm sure Trump will support Husted. I mean, I can't imagine he won't.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's going to be a replay, but Trump's not on the ticket. Mary Ellen, is Sherrod Brown a sure thing?
Oh, he's not a sure thing. No.
Not a sure thing.
No. He stands, though, for the working people, which is a very good place to stand in Ohio. A lot of working people really stood by him.
Matt, Sherrod Brown, what do you think percentage point that he's going to win this thing? Or do you think he'll win this thing?
I don't know that I could give you a percentage. I mean, I would hope that Sherrod Brown wins it. I mean, Husted, he's got the whole First Energy thing hanging over him.
Better than 50-50?
I mean, probably. I mean, Sherrod Brown doesn't have any scandals, just,
Mary Ellen, you think he's got a better than 50-50 chance that he'll win? Or is it still up in the air at this point?
Well, I think it's up in the air.
I tend to think it is, too. I
know that Husted doesn't look very exciting, but, boy, you get those commercials going.
Right.
That's what'll happen.
And it's going to be tough, but I think Sherrod can do it, but it's going to be hard.
Not impossible.
Oh, no,
not
it's not impossible.
Well, this gubernatorial race is far more interesting right now than the Senate race for a lot of reasons. Now, this is a story we did last week, but I want to throw it back out there because there have been things that have happened since this. When I heard this, I'm still shocked by this. Multiple polls have been released since Acton and Ramaswamy announced their candidacies, with Ramaswamy earning huge support from the Ohio Republican Party and Trump. Acton is the lone Democrat running. The most recent poll released August 5th by Impact Research shows the race is in a dead heat, with Acton trailing by 1 percentage point, 47% to 46%. Another 7% remain undecided. Acton is also consolidating Democratic support and leads by 8% among independents, 48% to 40%, with 11% undecided. Now, Ramaswamy has outraised her 5 times as much. So let's start here. We went over this last week, but Mike, what's your thought? All this money being spent, Amy Acton doing nothing, Ramaswamy everywhere, already a coronation by the Republican Party in Ohio.
I don't think money's being raised, but not spent yet.
No, but certainly
he's sitting on a bank, and he's independently wealthy, so that's that. But
it shouldn't be a dead heat because she hasn't done anything.
I don't know. What is this poll? Right now, if the poll was, are you more likely to support the Democrat Amy Acton or the Republican Vivek Ramaswamy, if people do not know either candidate, then I could see it being a dead heat, more or less.
In Ohio.
If they don't know either of those candidates. I don't know how many people outside of political people know who Ramaswamy or Acton are at this point.
I think the name has some effect there, Ramaswamy.
Both for and against, I would think. I think
Well,
there's some people who just don't like the foreign name, or
I think there's going to be more against a foreign name like
Yeah.
that because you know how we are in Ohio.
No, right? It could
Yeah.
be, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I would think that a poll would show, if you've paid attention to Ohio politics in the last 8, 12 years, that the Republican would have a huge lead no matter who the name would be, but not. So that's what is odd to me about
Yeah.
this poll.
Yeah.
And I think everybody would say that Vivek, they haven't been out there a lot, but Vivek certainly has been out there more than Amy Acton. And the fact that it's a dead heat in this time period, I think, says something.
Well, they had all these commercials for him.
He did run those
I mean,
commercials.
those commercials were solid for about, I don't know, for it
Right.
seemed like forever.
And those were those Trump endorses.
Yes.
Vivek
And they were
Ramaswamy.
purely to drive Yost and Tressel out.
Yes.
Right? It was,
And
it
it
was
worked.
for him to
Yeah,
to say,
it did.
"Don't even come here. I have all the
Yeah.
money,"
Yep.
and it worked. So it
Yeah.
wasn't even about voters
But-
at that point.
But I think it's her consolidation of the Democratic Party, but the consolidation of the independent voter. That she's 8 percentage points up
I
in
could see that.
independence.
I could see that.
I think a lot of it has to do with Trump's poll numbers too.
And it could.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
Trump is pretty much down in the dumps here, and along with us.
Now the
And
other
like he has always, if there's one thing you can always count on with Trump besides lying, it is upsetting women. Trump
could be that.
And
Yeah.
when he's out of office, I think a lot of women voters maybe forget, and then he gets in office, and suddenly it's like, oh God, yes, this is
Yes.
a man we have all run into in our lives. We know that type of man.
Yeah, well, the men mostly voted for Trump.
Absolutely, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Not,
yeah,
not women.
right,
Well,
right.
and on the heels of Sherrod Brown announcing that he is going to run for Senate, definitely here comes Tim Ryan out of the weeds. Former Democratic U.S. Rep Tim Ryan says he is showing a renewed and heightened interest in running for Ohio governor. According to his spokesperson, he's not saying that anywhere. But he said he will decide by September the 30th if he's going to get in or not.
Yeah.
He going to get in this, Mary Ellen? You think?
Well, it sounds like he's wanting to. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. It's a real mystery on this governor's race.
I did not realize Tim Ryan, though, had this kind of dislike amongst the Democrats.
Well, he does.
He does. He
Yeah,
does.
he does.
He's very.
We're a little upset with him
Now, explain to people why you're upset with him.
because he was a Trumper.
In a way,
He was.
Those ads he ran were disgraceful.
Yeah, they were terrible.
Absolutely disgraceful that he not only praised Trump,
Yeah.
but called Nancy Pelosi an extremist. After her husband had been hit with a hammer, he was running ads calling Nancy Pelosi an extremist. That is unforgivable.
well, how does he think then he can? I mean, why would he think he could be at the top of the ticket for Ohio governor on the Democratic side?
Maybe he still thinks Ohio is strongly Trumpy.
Yeah.
Why?
That may be what he's thinking.
And
I
he
don't
thinks
know
he
what
can
he's
beat Amy Acton.
Well, I don't think he
Yeah.
can out-Trump Ramaswamy, though.
But he's one of these guys who, and as as a congressperson, he had a good record. He was progressive.
he was good.
He fought for workers and
Strickland liked him a lot.
environmentalists
Governor
and
Strickland liked
gay
him a lot.
rights.
Yeah,
and
but-
I liked him too as a
Yeah, I did.
member of Congress.
I did too, but
I-
then he went crazy.
But
Yeah.
but
Well, but I'll tell you, when Ryan ran against, who'd he run against for Senate? Who'd he run against?
Moreno.
Was it
Moreno?
No,
Oh,
Brown
sure.
ran against Moreno.
Oh right.
Yeah. Who did he run against? Why can I think of
Vance.
the name?
Huh?
Vance. Yes,
Right,
Vance.
yes.
When he ran
Oh,
against
yeah,
Vance.
yeah.
Strickland, the vice president. Oh darn! Well, who was it? It was the vice president.
Vance doesn't even come to mind.
Which is where we start. Who was that guy?
Yeah.
Well, he was here for such a short time.
Yeah,
we don't
awesome.
remember him. But yeah, when he ran against Vance, Strickland got in some trouble during that race, Governor Strickland, for defending Ryan so heavily and
really?
attacking J.D. Vance for his hillbilly elegy and that whole thing.
Right.
So, and Strickland, interestingly enough, gave an interview to public radio in which he was asked about Amy Acton, and again, I don't have the quote in front of me, but the paraphrase was, I like Amy, I've talked with Amy, but I'm not going to endorse anybody yet. So, I think he's still a Tim Ryan guy.
I would think so. Yeah,
Strickland, who is the most
me.
liberal
I
guy
love
in the
Ted
world.
Strick, and one of the just
Most outspoken at this point.
sweetest, wonderful men on earth. I love Ted
Oh, he
Strickland.
is.
I
I was not here when he was governor. I was in
nor was
Washington.
I only met him the
Yeah.
last few years.
But he's a very nice
What a
person.
nice
I've
man.
always
But
liked him.
Outspoken. That you
Yes,
ask that
oh.
guy a question and he will go in
I
as
love
deep.
him. Both he and his wife are wonderful.
Yeah.
They will not hold back if you ask them a question.
Yeah.
I love them.
But what's interesting is now the guy who, as you said, it's unforgivable. That's the guy who he tends to line up with in
Sure.
this. It seems to be.
Well,
I mean,
there's loyalty there.
right.
Wonder
why.
He's Strickland is a loyal person with his friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
And I think if there is now, that primary would be a tough call for me, because I don't think Amy Acton has shown that she is going to be a strong candidate, and that's really what we need. I do think Tim Ryan, because he's run statewide, and but I think if he were our Democratic nominee for governor, I would vote for him, because I think it's
But
more
you said he was
important.
unforgivable.
As a Democrat, it absolutely, politics is not like a perfect art. We almost always vote for people we don't love, right? It's so seldom that I've had a candidate that I thought, boy, this one's 100% for me. We usually vote for who our nominee is.
Well, I'll tell you, Amy Acton did
Yeah.
pick up a nomination today, or endorsement, excuse me. Nan Whaley endorsed Amy Acton. She said, "I know firsthand the challenges facing Ohio, and that's why I am proud to endorse Amy Acton for governor."
Right.
And Amy Acton, of course, is very happy to have Nan Whaley endorsing her. But now, again, Nan Whaley has a pretty bad record at running
Yes.
for governor.
Yeah.
First
yeah.
woman. She's the first woman to run for governor in Ohio, but didn't do well. Did
No, she
very
lost the
badly.
race.
Well, I'm anxious to see what their commercials sound like, because I don't know who I want to vote for.
Yeah.
Do you think
Right.
this is, though, the first woman who ran for governor endorsing a woman who's running for governor?
That doesn't affect me. Women affect me, but they're not affecting me.
Do you think this is why Nan Whaley did? I can't imagine Nan Whaley and Amy Acton have spent a lot of time together.
No, I doubt that too.
Well, they may. Who knows? But they
I doubt
also.
it.
I am sure that Amy Acton. I'm sure there were a lot of people who Amy Acton was seeking their endorsement, and they were saying, until Sherrod makes a decision, I can't endorse anyone, right? Because if Sherrod got in, that we would all. And so then when Sherrod came out, I'm sure the call was made that we need your endorsements, because now they're trying to keep Ryan from getting in. So, I'm sure Nan. And I think Nan Whaley's she was a great mayor in Dayton. She's very smart. I don't think any Democrat was going to win that race anyway. I don't think we can put that all on Nan Whaley's lap for losing to Mike DeWine, who maybe is the most famous politician in Ohio.
I think it's the amount she lost by was the problem.
She lost big. Yeah.
Well,
But
he made charges against her, and she never answered those charges.
Yeah.
And it was because she had taken money for the thing that everybody took money for.
First Energy.
Yes, First Energy. She had taken money from then, and that kept
Right.
her from clearing up the things that were said about her. Yeah.
Well, and I also think there was an idea that still does impact a lot of politicians, that this was a mayor. And she was not, she was in her mid-40s at the time. running. And I think a lot of people felt going from mayor of Dayton to governor of Ohio is a big jump. That's like, going as from mayor of Marion to governor of Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh,
Against Mike DeWine, who's got all the
that's
experience
silly.
in the
That's
world.
silly. I mean, come on. That's not how we elect people. We know that. No. Like,
Has a mayor ever been elected governor? I don't ever remember that.
Probably. I mean, that seems like it'd be a fairly normal transition. I know certainly in where I'm from, in California, it happens all the time, So it's not. I don't know. I just think Ohio at that point, with Mike DeWine at the top of the ticket, maybe if LeBron James had come back and run, maybe
Really? Well,
we might have a chance then. Other than that, I don't see a Democrat
But
beating.
no sitting governor had ever been primaried in over 100 years. Mike DeWine was primaried, and in that primary, he didn't even carry 50% of the Republican vote.
No, I know.
So, I mean, it's not like this guy was King Kong giant
No.
killer and invincible.
I think maybe some of the mayors of Cleveland have been elected governor.
But it's certainly been a while, though.
Because I'm trying to remember who could have been in that
Because
category.
mayor is closer to governor than any legislative job. I mean, that's an executive position. That's not. I mean, being a congressman or a senator doesn't really train you for an executive position. So.
I don't know. Well, Dayton is not a big place compared to Cincinnati or
Right.
Cleveland or Columbus. You might get a jump out of those places, but Dayton.
Dayton was very democratic.
Yeah.
We always thought of him as very democratic.
Well, and Nan Whaley, it's been nearly 4 years. I mean, where has she been? What has she done? I
don't know.
Well, I think she's out of office now.
Right, but I thought she would have went on to something.
She's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm pretty sure she's practicing law. Yeah.
Right, but she wasn't able to continue her political career,
No,
which
right.
certainly she
But
wanted
her term
to.
ended, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see her run for something.
Maybe she
Again.
wants a job.
Well, maybe
If
she
Amy Acton
doesn't.
wins.
Maybe she doesn't want to run for.
No, I
anything.
don't blame her. Look,
Yeah, I don't blame her either.
look at the crap she's got to put up with here.
Well, no, listen. She was a nice lady. She came on a lot. She was very nice. I liked having her on the show.
I like her.
But
She has a good sense of humor.
She had a good
I
sense
like
of humor.
her,
Very
yeah.
like, I would get a pizza with her, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, she was not a good candidate. Cordray did very well against DeWine. Didn't win. We all thought he was going to. Didn't happen. But Renacci in the primary, and even the guy with the cowboy hat, what was his name?
Right.
Yeah, they did well. It almost seemed like Nan Whaley wasn't running a campaign, and she was in the main.
Yeah.
So there you go. Do you even know Nan Whaley, Matt?
No.
Yeah, it's not even a name that
Right.
shows up on the radar. But that's the last election, and you pay attention to the. Do you know who Rich Cordray is?
I do know.
Oh, there you go. And that's 8 years ago. So
Anytime you're using Rich Cordray as an example of a more exciting politician, that's interesting because he's a pretty dull guy himself, right?
Oh,
Rich Cordray.
I liked him so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
maybe he'll get in this. Haven't seen him for a while. Who knows? He's back in Ohio, I know that.
Boy, a Democrat running statewide in Ohio, that's just a thankless job. Boy.
It is. It would be a job, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You have a rough way to go.
Whose endorsement do you want? If you're a Democrat, who do you want?
You'd want somebody that's got a lot of money. That's
Lot of
gonna
money.
help you out. Yeah.
Somebody who's got clearly they want Strickland's endorsement. I think Amy Acton has asked for it and
I'm
clearly
sure they
not
have.
gotten it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, is Celeste still important?
Oh, sure.
Former Governor Celeste?
Yes, he's important.
Oh, all those things are important.
Yeah. Well, I had not thought about that. Who do you want? I'd go for somebody with money and go that direction because you're going to need money, I'll tell you.
But at this point, Mary Ellen, you have not decided Acton or Ryan if he got in.
I haven't, no.
But Mike, you think Ryan would be the better candidate?
Oh, he would not get my vote. No. But yeah, if those are our choices, that's a tough one.
That they're both for the bad.
If I
though.
had to vote
that's
right
that's
now-
unfortunate that it's choosing between
I think
people you
Amy
don't.
Acton is a good person, and I think she would be a good governor.
You
I
think
just don't-
she'd do a good job?
I think she seems to be an administrative. Governor's an administrative job, right?
Yes.
It has so much to do with who
But
you hire, and
I don't think she's a strong administrator.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I
she's
don't know. But I'm saying if those are our choices, I would love to have a better choice.
Yeah. Okay.
But if those are our choices, I'm with you. I cannot trust Tim Ryan for anything. Now, ultimately, if we got to a point where on November, whatever, the choice is Ramaswamy or Tim Ryan, at that point, obviously he's better than that other guy. But
But you'd be
Yeah.
for Acton in a primary.
probably, if it was those two.
And Mary Ellen in the primary, you're not sure yet. Between Ryan and Acton.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to vote for Ryan.
Oh, so you would be. If Amy Acton
I
wanted
don't,
to.
I don't know if I'm going to vote for her either.
Oh, well,
I'm
well,
kind of with her. I am. We are there for the convincing. I think
we gotta take a convincing break. We'll come up and finish this story on the other side because it's important. So we'll be back right after this. Don't go. Hey, this is Scott Spears with Matt Morgan, 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, and former wrestling referee Fred Feeney. Surviving OSU on HBO Max right now. #1 documentary in the country. My goodness, it's the Ohio State scandal, and it's a great documentary. You've got to see it. Fred, in the documentary, you talk about Jim Jordan and his connection to this whole situation. What can you tell our viewers about this?
I know that they know.
Matt, what do you make of this?
I think it's rather unsettling, and I think Ohio State should try to do something to fix it at this point.
Mary Ellen, how do you feel about the whole thing?
I think he knows.
And there you go.
Yeah.
I know he knows.
And we're back here on this week's episode of The Exchange. Matt Morgan, 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, Mike Larsen, stand-up comedy writer for a lot of great people, Ellen DeGeneres, Ryan Reynolds certainly topped that list, Drew Carey. But we were talking about the Ohio gubernatorial race, and the question I was getting to there as we were going to break is, I'm not sure that endorsements persuade people to vote in a certain way anymore, but they do make news. And I think that's why Nan Whaley is in the news today. We're taping this on Wednesday because of this endorsement, that she was willing to do it. I think Ted Strickland was in the news because he was not willing to do it. So Mary Ellen, I think your endorsement still matters in Ohio. Certainly, you were one of you were the first woman really approached seriously about running for governor. This position we're all talking about. So I think at some point, if you decide to endorse one of these people, it will make news. So at this point, you feeling anything toward any of these people? Would you endorse anybody at this point?
I have not met Acton.
You'd have to meet her first.
I have never met her. Yeah, I was at
Hey, Amy Acton's people, have your candidate call Mary Ellen Withrow,
that's
for
a
God's
bad
sake.
move. Bad move not to do
Well,
that.
I was at when Joe Biden came in to speak. I was at that event, and she was at that event, and I didn't know she was there, and but she was, and I didn't get to meet her then, so I haven't met her.
Were you the first woman elected statewide in Ohio?
No, it was Gertrude Donahue,
Oh, okay.
and her husband had been Attorney General. Her father-in-law had been governor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Local
so
family.
you're talking, and so she was in the women's organization, very strong in that. They were behind her, and so she was swept in.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as you know, I don't know that people remember it now, but when you took the job as Treasurer of the United States in '94, they were seriously considering you for governor. You were
Yes.
seriously considering it. There were articles written at that time in which they're saying, are you going to run for governor, or what are you going to do here? And they wanted you to take on Voinovich. So you were really, to my knowledge, unless somebody can point it out, the first woman who was really courted and probably would have run for that position had you not got the appointment.
Yeah, I had a call every day from somebody important. Yeah.
And when you were
Yeah.
Treasurer of the United States, is it not true that you were asked again to run?
Yes.
Yeah, for
in,
governor.
In
I'm sure,
90,
yeah.
90, would have been 98.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Governor Celeste when he was here last year, and Matt was with us when we did the interview, when Governor Celeste came here to plug his book, he said you were the most loved female politician in Ohio. So Amy Acton, when you're running for governor, you better make a call, you know. But at this point, you want to talk to her.
The list
Oh,
of
yeah.
Yes.
the list of Democrats who have been elected statewide in Ohio who are still with us is not a long list. Right? It's not even a whole page. You would think that those calls would have been made.
Well, and who went to the national
If
level?
for no other reason to say, I want to introduce myself.
Hello, this
Yeah.
is
You
this.
know.
I'm Amy Acton. How are you?
Well,
That sort of thing.
I wanted to meet her, and I was disappointed when I found out she was there, and I didn't even know it till I was on my way home, and Christian was the one that had talked to her, and he had mentioned it. I was riding with him. I thought, oh shoot, I didn't get to meet her.
Well, and when her name just slipped my mind. The lady who's running for governor on the Republican side.
Oh yes.
Yeah, when she came to the
Heather.
office, Heather Hill.
Oh, right. I
When she
forgot
came
about
here
her.
and did an interview with us in person, she wanted to meet you, and she got her picture taken with you while she was here.
Yes.
So the Democrats, there's something wrong with that, and also the fact I do believe that you came from a very rural Republican President Harding's city and were able to be elected here, statewide and national. They might have some questions to ask you, Amy Acton and the whole gang.
Well, I will say I don't talk about this chapter of my life very much, but when I ran for Congress and I asked people who were the first calls I need to make, it was Mary Ellen Withrow and Scott Scherzer.
Oh, there you go.
Really?
Democrats of standing within the district, right?
Yeah.
There aren't a lot, and then some of the union leaders up in Elyria, because remember
Yeah.
the district went all the way
Yeah.
up to the lake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it was, and Glenn Coble introduced us.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, those union leaders were very important
Right,
to me.
right, yeah.
I remember that, yeah. I went up to Cleveland to meet Presser. He was the big guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, I remember he asked me, he said, if the newspapers wrote a bad article about you, what would your husband do? I said, well, he'd get mad, but he'd get over it. And that was foremost in his mind.
It's so
Isn't that interesting?
so funny.
Now, what year
Yes.
would this have been? Area?
This would have been in 84.
Well, and also,
Yeah.
I mean, the story is very, very well known. We brought it up a lot of times here, but the club that when you were treasurer of the state, they did not want you to go through the front door, but they wanted you to speak to
Oh,
them
yeah, the
because you were a
Columbus-
woman.
The Columbus Club. Yeah, they called and asked me to come and speak and said I had to come in the side door. I said, I'm not coming in the side door. And it wasn't until the day before that they agreed to let me go in the front door.
And this is the 80s.
Yes. And yeah, this
not
is
surprising.
this is 82. And
Men are kind of idiots if you haven't noticed.
But Columbus, this is not a rural area of Ohio.
No, you
but
know.
I and the guy that my coordinator was he's the commissioner for Franklin County now, O'Grady. He would call every day to see if they'd let me in the front door.
Oh, my
And if they hadn't let you in, what would you have done?
I wouldn't have gone.
Just wanted to show
Yeah.
them.
I wouldn't have.
No,
I
I don't
wouldn't have
blame
been
you.
there. No, I think they knew that. Yeah.
Did you make mention of it in your speech that night?
No, I did not. No.
But would you want to talk to Tim Ryan?
Sure, I'll talk to Tim.
You
I'll
talk to
talk
Tim?
to anybody.
Have you ever met Tim Ryan?
Oh, heavens,
I would
yes.
imagine.
Okay,
you've
well, there you go.
known
Yes,
Tim
But not Amy
yes.
Acton.
Never met Amy Acton, but no,
Tim
I,
is a very nice man, but in
Yeah.
fact now he lives in my neighborhood. He is he moved into the development or
Oh, did he?
near right behind me. I
oh,
know.
really?
My wife only told me because she is our Democratic precinct captain there
Yeah.
or whatever, delegate. And she said, I was walking a precinct and I said, oh, look there's someone in our district named Tim Ryan. And I rang the doorbell and Tim Ryan
Yeah.
answered the door. So, yeah.
Well,
I didn't realize. I thought he was still up at Youngstown.
No, he's moved into the Columbus area.
Oh, really?
You know what is strange to me about this gubernatorial election, before we move on to the next one, is what has been the case since I've been in media in Ohio. The Democrats usually are the first ones out. Nan Whaley, I'm sure, is the first person I interviewed and ended up interviewing them all, Republican and Democrat, usually do because they're running for office. But I'm sure Nan Whaley was the first person I interviewed. Cordray might have been the first, but Kucinich was also out there strong in that one. This time around, we're still more than a year away from this thing, and I've already had Ramaswamy and Heather Hill on. Amy Acton, Tim Ryan, I guess, well, he's not in yet, but
Right.
I've never seen a Democratic campaign for governor in Ohio run like Amy Acton's. It's the most bizarre campaign, because Ramaswamy certainly didn't have to come on, but he did. And, give him credit for that, I guess. He came on, and because he's everywhere. So, but Amy Acton might want to get on the phone and talk to Mary Ellen, or at least say hello, something. Now, we did this story last week, but we've got to do this story this week. We had a lot of fun with it last week, but this is Mike's business, show business.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yes, the Kennedy Center honors. My goodness, we love this story.
Was I nominated?
Oh, you might be. Just say the right things and you can get on the list now. I think it's a sweepstakes. But this year's Kennedy Center honors honorees are country music singer and Grammy Award winner George Strait, Broadway actor and singer Michael Crawford, known for originating The Phantom of the Opera, actor Sylvester Stallone, Rocky Rambo, Gloria Gaynor, known for women's empowerment anthem I Will Survive, and the band Kiss, rock band.
Yeah.
At a press conference a week ago, last Wednesday, at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, President Trump said he was very involved in selecting the group, a departure from the Kennedy Center honors. Traditionally, the recipients are selected by a months-long bipartisan undertaking by members of the Kennedy Center board, with input from the general public and past honorees. But that's not going on anymore. And Trump said that he also will host the awards, which will be on December 7th. He said, hey, I haven't hosted anything since The Apprentice. I'll fit this in. Which will be on December 7th on CBS. I'll tell you what, we're all waiting for that one. It's on CBS, imagine that.
I believe it's December 7th, not the day that lives in infamy.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Well, for a whole other reason now. For a whole other reason.
Okay.
But as we talked about this week, and Mary Ellen said the same thing, you have to watch it now, because this is going to be the most entertaining Kennedy Center that you've ever seen, because he's not going to take any notes up there. And
Oh, yeah. Think about that.
oh my Lord.
I gotta say, for the nominees, all of those people seem deserving. They're all American icons.
Yeah.
See, and that is
And
what...
that was
But he chose them.
It could have been Rob Schneider, Kid Rock, the My Pillow guy, right? It could have been.
Oh, that might
Would he get a Kennedy Center honor? I don't know. But no,
But all of them are deserving artists.
But this is what I've always said about
Didn't
Trump.
Mike Lindell try to run for something a while back?
Did he? I don't
Not
know.
Kennedy Center, but the point, here's the thing, and this is what I've always said about Trump. He does understand show business. He does get that. You can say the guy is not bright and so on and so forth, but he stacked this show, as you said, with qualified people. And he did. If he would have vetoed somebody, they wouldn't have been in there. And there is not a name on this list that is not strong. And there have been Kennedy Centers in recent years where they didn't know it was an opera singer, or there were people that they didn't know. This year, there are no duds in the bunch. Everybody knows this group. And he's hosting, and you got to say everybody knows the host. I don't know.
And they're not even terribly political. Sylvester Stallone has been a Republican supporter through the years,
but he deserves it.
He's not a firebrand. He's not someone saying crazy things. He's not so.
But Phantom of the Opera, I thought, hey,
Sure,
Michael
Crawford.
But this is a Trump
and
pick.
who doesn't love Kiss?
Right, but that these are Trump picks, I think people probably thought it would be more of a divisive group, but it's not. It's not. So I think it will be an entertaining show, and I think the fact that he'll host it and he'll do what he does will be.
But the important thing is the ridiculousness of this dictator to want to take over everything, even art. It's the Kennedy Center. Let the artists choose the artist. That's why it's an honor, is because it has been chosen by other honorees. It just, I'm glad that he picked people who are worthy of the honor, which has shocked me. I've got to think that someone took some names off there. You know.
Who do you think was on the list that had to be vetoed by somebody?
I don't know. Kid Rock?
You think?
I don't know. Ted Nugent?
Hulk Hogan might have been on there.
Lee Greenwood.
Yeah, Hulk
Oh,
Hogan
Lee
might-
Greenwood, Hulk Hogan might have been on there before he died.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It's just it's and now he wants
Scott
he
Baio.
wants to take over the music. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Right.
Tiny Chachi got one.
They always have a lot of people get up and talk about the artist other than the person in charge.
Well, that's the thing. Who's
That's
going to be
true.
there?
Yeah.
And perform for them.
Yes,
Right. They would have
right.
other musicians come play Kiss songs or something. So
But
yeah.
do we know that these people all support Trump? I mean, they might not be big Republican operatives, but are they all? I mean, I don't know that. I would not think that Michael Crawford is a.
I think
Trumper?
he is, but
Really?
what was it? One of the members of Kiss
not.
said, yeah, it didn't make a big deal out of it.
Gloria
I
Gaynor?
think Ace Frehley said something along the lines of, "I appreciate the honor. I'm not a supporter," or something like that, but not a
But by the way, under Trump's big beautiful bill signed into law in July, the Kennedy Center will receive $257 million. That is 6 times what it normally gets from Congress annually.
Boy.
I don't know.
And they want to change the name.
And they're
I
going
s-
to change
I
the
swear.
Opera House to
Yeah.
Melania Trump because
Yes.
evidently they
Yeah.
couldn't just put like a
Can you
nude
imagine?
photo studio in there for her or something that she's qualified to have her name on.
Well, I just it is interesting to me. I mean, I think Trump, truthfully, wants to be on the in crowd. He wants to be with the in crowd.
Yes.
And this is a
you're
perfect
right there.
example of it.
Yeah.
He's giving all this money to the arts because he gets to be in control of it. Why host it? I mean, he doesn't have to do that, but he wants to be with this
Yeah.
group. He wants to be at the Kennedy
The only
Center.
reason he cares about the war in Ukraine is because he wants to win a stupid Nobel Peace Prize. He's a child. It's
Yeah.
all about winning this stupid Nobel Peace Prize because Obama got one.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
but
just
Yeah.
a child.
But now a lot of people feel that Trump is very anti-war. That's what your buddy Bill Maher likes about him.
Bill Maher was my employer.
I'm sorry,
Who
I did.
fired me before, and then I quit after he hired me back. So he's not my buddy, but yes.
But we've traveled down that road with
Yes,
Bill Maher.
right. I just do not.
You don't
say
like
that.
has Bill Maher?
We do not share a lot of the same opinions. Let's put it that way. Some we do.
He's an interesting fellow.
Of course he is. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, what would you say? We went through his personality, but could you be his friend in life?
Oh, sure. And I've played basketball with Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, well, there you go.
absolutely. In that way, and I have friends who I disagree, members of my family who I love dearly, who I don't agree with. And, oh, yeah, no, I have nothing against Bill at all. I mean,
Did
I
he
just
play-
would not describe him as my buddy.
He played
There are
bas-
people I would say are my buddy. Yeah.
Who would be a buddy that we would know?
You're my buddy.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm glad to hear. Even after that remark, I'm still the buddy.
But he
Well, that's
played
good.
But watch it. You're
Watch it. I know
okay.
we're treading on thin ice now.
I can't believe he played basketball.
Bill's actually a really good basketball player.
He is?
And he's an older man now, but I guess as a high school kid in New York, he was actually like an all-borough point guard. He's a little guy. He's
Are you
fairly
talking
short.
about the comedian?
Bill Maher from he's actually a really good he was
Yeah,
a
I
good
can't-
basketball player.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
No, he's not very tall.
No, he's not. He's pretty
Yeah.
short actually. I'd say
he
he's
must have been
probably
fast.
5'7", 5'8".
Was he fast?
Yeah, and in basketball, especially that position, a lot has to do with your your ball handling skills.
Yeah.
Bill was very. I mean, the couple times I played with Bill, he's a
Really?
fun guy to play with because I am more of a shooter, so I need people to pass me the ball, and Bill could pass the ball, so I have great love for anyone who passes me the ball. So in that context, I like Bill a lot.
When Trump was announcing this, he said that he had to say no to a couple of wokesters proposed by the board that wanted to be on the Kennedy Center honorees list. Who knows who those people were? But so Trump apparently had veto power.
And
about this.
there was a story. So excuse me, there was a story that Tom Cruise declined it. Did you hear this?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's you hear stuff.
Declined what?
but that Tom Cruise was on the list and he asked
for
not
the
to be
Kennedys.
honored.
Oh.
He is very. I don't know him well, but I get the sense that he is very apolitical. I think he is smart that way. That to not, yeah.
I bet you Trump comes out in a tuxedo. I bet you he treats this
sure.
very seriously. Because this is what he wants to be a part of. This is his thing.
No, he will come out and he will talk about Russia.
Really, you think?
Yes, because he's a child. That's all he talks about are his grievances.
You don't think he'll have a writer there that night? And
Sure. Yeah, Stephen Miller will write him some...
Oh, that's his writing, the comedy.
Some
I didn't know.
racist whatever, and he'll come out and complain about Russia, and about crime, and about Democrat-run cities. That, you know...
Well, the Democrats come to this event, don't they? Or they used to, at least, I think.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. I don't...
You've been to the Kennedy Center, right, Mary Ellen?
A lot of times.
Have you ever been? I've never been to the honors. I've been to the Kennedy Center many times.
No, I
It's a
haven't been to
beautiful
the
building.
honors, but I was always in the president's box when I
Yeah,
went.
yeah.
So I think that it is interesting. Now, I wonder, we haven't heard from Caroline Kennedy. She was hosting she used to host this at one point.
Yeah, I wonder I can't understand what happened to the Kennedy family on this. Why they let him have this.
I don't know that they were. I don't think they controlled it.
John F. Kennedy.
I know.
And they haven't said anything.
Oh, they have spoken out,
They
especially Schlossberg. Who is he? Is he Caroline Kennedy's
Husband?
or is it their son? Who's
Son.
very outspoken now?
He's
really kind of become the voice for the family, because the rest of them are like well into their
Quiet.
80s,
They're not quiet.
Yeah,
I mean,
they did talk about it, but they also have to deal with their idiot uncle, Robert.
I know
so
that must
they
be
have
a
a lot on their
terrible
plate.
embarrassment.
I mean, you talk about a name that was so respected in this
Yeah.
country,
Well, I'm sure he'll be there that night.
Yeah.
Robert,
Oh,
I'm sure
yeah.
he will. Sure.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Kennedys will show because it is the Kennedy
No.
Center? Really?
Oh, I don't think they would.
Yeah, I
No.
wouldn't imagine.
No.
Well,
Why would they?
No.
well,
It'd be an embarrassment.
Yeah.
Well, if the group is okay and it's acceptable and it is the Kennedy Center honors and
But
they're
it's not. Donald Trump is now the president of the thing, right? It's no.
right, but they were never the president. I mean, it was
I don't
other
know.
people.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of hard, I think, because if somebody wants to honor a dead family member, and that's what the Kennedy Center has become, I think you might not like the guy who's hosting it, like the Bushes. The Bushes went to the White House to see the pictures unveiled. I don't think they particularly liked Donald Trump, but they went. Obama, I think, went to have his picture unveiled under Trump. So, I mean, maybe. You don't think any Democrats will go to this? I mean, it's going to be a good
I
show.
think there'll be Democrats
There
there.
might be some who go, sure.
Yes,
but
if they can.
If Trump wasn't hosting, would it be okay to go? If he had just picked the group, and this is the group, and you've got whoever up there hosting the thing, would then it be okay to go? Or is it just because Trump's hosting?
Doesn't he want to change the name of the Kennedy Center to the Trump Center?
He didn't say that.
yes, he did.
He wouldn't mind it, I'm sure, but he didn't.
Said he said it as a joke when he announced the winners. Or he said the honorees for the Trump Kennedy Centers. I mean the Kennedy Center, haha, like it's a joke.
The Trump Kennedy
But
Center, is
there
that
was
what they would call it?
legislation to put Trump's name on it.
Right, but he didn't bring forth the legislation.
Whatever, he wants to do it.
Well, I'm sure he
They
wants to
all
do it.
live
He
in
likes to put his name on
obedience to
stuff.
this guy.
But all I'm saying is, if he wanted to do it at this point, I think the man could do it.
sure.
But he hasn't, so I have to believe that he's holding back for some reason.
Here's the question. How many things in Ohio in the next 2 years are going to be named after Trump? I think they're going to just start naming roads and
Oh.
schools and
dear.
buildings.
Oh, I can't wait for the first
Can
Trump
you imagine how
elementary.
many they're going to call things Trump?
But do you think they'll whip him right back, though, as soon as Democrats take control again?
You would I don't know. You would hope, but
I don't know. It's interesting. I think that the show will be entertaining, and December 7th, it is interesting that it's that date, Pearl Harbor Day. I mean, that's...
He probably
what
didn't
could go wrong?
He probably didn't realize that
No.
when he said it.
Some of the schedulers
He's such
didn't...
a student of history.
He didn't realize...
He really thinks he is, yeah.
Well, maybe he'll have some good Pearl Harbor material in the act that night when he's up there. I don't know. Matt, but would you watch this show? I think it'll get good ratings. CBS is probably happy.
I'd be interested to, I don't know if I'd like watch the full thing. It seems like a lot, but like I'm sure I'd watch.
How many of those acts do you know?
Oh, I know all. Well,
okay.
I know all of them.
Bet you don't know Michael Crawford,
Yep,
do you?
don't know that one. I know all the others though.
Yeah.
I'd love that one.
Especially like when he mentioned Kiss, I was just in my head. I started singing. I was made for loving you. I think it's just made for loving you. But
Gloria
great
Gaynor.
song.
Big hit. George Strait, that'll be big with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I like George.
But you know what?
Strait.
When W. Bush was there, he honored Loretta Lynn, and the person who presented Loretta Lynn was the Father Bush. I mean, he presented her on stage. So I mean, this isn't totally out
there's
of the...
always right. And during Obama, there was a lot of like Motown artists. And
Stevie
stuff.
Wonder.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I really was pleasantly surprised when they announced the list because I was waiting to hear whatever, Rob Schneider, Kid Rock, whatever, Band of Losers are his buddies.
So what's the reason you think that it went this way, even though he had to veto some wokesters, as he said?
I don't know.
Because
I
he
try
wants
not to get in Donald Trump's mind.
Because Mary Ellen, he wants to be in with these people, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
He wants to be loved and really he wants the whole country to love him.
He does.
Yeah.
I believe that is the same week that he appointed the registered sex offender and child predator Lawrence Taylor to his council on physical fitness to advise children on how to exercise in school, to show you the judgment this man has. This guy who was convicted of a sex crime against a child is put on his panel for at the same week he did this. So he's not, whatever. That's why I was pleasantly surprised by this list, because I was expecting it to just be a disaster.
So all these people they're qualified.
They seem to, right? They're all,
This list is fascinating to me in a little bit of a way here. Because if Gloria Gaynor, I don't know. If we're talking about the Kennedy Center, I think there are people probably who could beat Gloria Gaynor out. I wonder why she's on there. For like the...
She was a big star in the disco era.
Yeah, but
she's not... she's a Republican, right?
Well, I don't know. That's why
I don't know. But I would assume that all of the other comparable, disco queens of the... I don't know.
Well, I was saying, it's a weird choice to me, because I assume she's the female vocalist here, is the idea. And there are people who have... There are a ton... Jerry Lewis never got a Kennedy Center honor when he was alive. Bill Cosby. Well, there you go. But he would have been up at one point, I'm sure.
I could have seen Donald Trump pick Bill Cosby.
Well, there you go, Bill Cosby.
That would have been a Trump.
There are a lot of people who were at their height and very popular in a good way who never got a Kennedy Center honor. Jerry Lewis, Bill Cosby would have been one in his height. Jerry Seinfeld's never got one.
There's only a few a year, right? So
well, that's what I'm saying. Gloria Gaynor. There's a lot of people who haven't ever. Has Bette Midler? Bette Midler might have gotten one.
I don't know.
But a lot of big names who you could have put on there that you didn't. That's why I say this is kind of a well-rounded list. You got somebody from theater. You got a movie star. You've got a female singer. You got a male singer, and you've got a band.
Well, and a black woman for Donald Trump. That's not an easy thing for Donald Trump to find a black woman that he is not going to call names. That's great. They found one, and she's great. The guy, I can't. I Will Survive is like an anthem, and he plays it in his rallies. So I'm sure that's part of it.
But how do you think her name came up? I'm just curious because I don't think that would roll off Donald Trump's tongue. Hey, how about Gloria Gaynor? We need to get her in this.
I think the people who put a list together and said...
And he said Gloria Gaynor,
and said we have to find... Is she the only woman on there? She is, right? Right? It's Crawford and Stallone and Kiss and Strait. Yeah. So I'm sure they had to find a woman. Someone said it would be nice if they weren't all white.
What about Judge Pirro?
Judge Pirro.
Well, she could have been, you could have really gotten...
Kennedy Center honor?
Well,
For just being a TV lawyer?
Well, she's a TV entertainer. She's got her own little thing going on there.
Yeah.
Judge Joe Brown. You know?
Sure.
He likes the judges. He
Sure.
likes the litigious
But I
people.
will say that they do play "I Will Survive" at his. That's a part of his concert mix. So I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't kind of start there with performers because they know they like those songs. They play some Kiss songs.
Jay Leno, I would have, there's a guy.
Sure.
You know, Letterman. I don't think he's a fan of Trump, but
yeah,
no. Jay Leno just comes out at the end and seems to say, "Why are people talking politics?" Defended. We get into this. We don't have the time here, but defended Stephen Colbert being fired more or less. He said, shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have been so political.
Who said that?
Jay Leno, more or
Yeah.
less.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Surprised at that?
Jay Leno.
No, I'm not surprised.
That's the Jay Leno kind of. What do you think Jay Leno just does? He wants everybody to like him. Because on everything, he's kind of like that.
Jay has that personality, but
Letterman went right after Trump on that.
Letterman and Jay are very, very different people. Jay is another person whose politics are different. He's a Republican. He's a pretty conservative guy, but just in my limited time with him, very, very nice man.
Everybody says he's a very nice man, but on issues like this, he doesn't seem to run to the charge like everybody else.
If you remember, his version of political jokes were joking about Bill Clinton's weight, about Bill Clinton jogging over to McDonald's. He did a lot of jokes about that, and then, of course, when the Lewinsky thing came in with that, but it was never about policy. It was always about
something else.
Personality,
We're out of time. It's hard to believe it goes so fast here, and we always appreciate it. We thank Matt Morgan for being here, Mike Larsen. Big comedy show Thursday night, Columbus, 7 p.m. #Comedy Club. Mary Ellen Withrow, 40th Treasurer of the United States. It's always fun. For this episode, Scott Spears heading for the dugout.